Happy Mother's Day, everybody. We are actually also 1 week away from WWE Money in the Bank. So coming at you with probably way too early predictions in terms of the fact that we're a week ahead of time. We still have 2 WWE shows. In any event, we're getting at you early with these predictions. What's going on out there, guys? It's your boy Tommy on the spot. Thanks so much for checking us out here today on Watchalong Wrestling. It's great to be here with you guys. I am actually in the midst of a big old vacation. The reason for that is I'm kind of in the middle of things. I have a staycation that I just finished up, and I'm preparing to hit the road for St. Martin bright and early in the morning. I'm going to spend the day with Mom because that's, what we do. So with that being said, I figured, hey, have a little bit of time. Let's jump on here with you guys and talk about all things Money in the Bank 2019. Let's break down the card. Let's give you a little something, and let's go through the entire show. 2 Money in the Bank matches, 2 women's matches. For those of you joining us for the very first time, we are Watchalong Wrestling. We do live streams, we do vlogs, we do a whole bunch more, and we have a heck of a time doing it. So hopefully you guys are also having a heck of a time. If you like what you see, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications. As right now my schedule's a little nuts, so I'm just kind of getting on here when I can get on here. And the only way to truly know when I'm on the air is to have that bell notification turned on. Pops up on your phone. Oh, man, you can stop what you're doing. You can pick up your phone. You can join in on Watch Along Wrestling, and you can jump in usually on the live chat because most of the time I do a lot of live streams. You could jump in on the live chat. Let me know your thoughts. Live chat right now is open if you want to give your thoughts on Money in the Bank 2019. Now, of course, again, with this being 1 week still remaining until Money in the Bank actually comes at you, there might be more matches that are announced, but I'm going to pull up the match card right now and let you know exactly what is there. There are 10 matches, so I can't imagine there's too much more that are added to it, but I do think there's going to be 1 more match at least. So let's get into it. Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. Becky Lynch, because she's Becky 2 belts, is going to be on the show twice. So she'll be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. Becky Lynch will return later in the night, and I don't know how the card's going to go, but she's also going to be defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. So that should be interesting. I'll get into that in a little bit. There are also 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. Raw side of things, the men's side of things, you're getting Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Finn Balor, Andrade, Ali, and everybody's favorite, Baron Corbin. Then you've got, on the women's side of things, Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. That's an interesting an interesting batch of women that are in there, and I'll get to that in a sec as well. For the WWE Universal Championship, you've got Seth Rollins going up against AJ Styles in potentially the match that most folks are looking most forward to. That should be great. For SmackDown side of things, another match that I think is going to be underrated and great is going to be Kofi Kingston defending that championship against Kevin Owens. Probably the end of this feud here, you've got The Miz taking on Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. So they went all over the place at WrestleMania. They're back in the confines of a steel cage for WrestleMania. Then you've got Roman Reigns one-on-one with Elias. And then you've got the United States Championship as Samoa Joe defends that title against Booyaka Rey Mysterio. And am I forgetting anything other than the Cruiserweights? No. So rounding out the card right now is going to be Cruiserweight Championship. Tony Nese defending that title against Arya Daivari. That's the announced card. I'm assuming we're also going to get a SmackDown Tag Team title match for the women. I guess the women's tag team title match, I don't think they're necessarily on SmackDown, but they've been a lot more, I feel like, focused on SmackDown than they have been Raw. I'm thinking that's going to end up being the Iconics taking on the team of Asuka and Kairi Sane. A little early, I feel like, for Asuka and Kairi Sane. They're still kind of building that team up, but if you look at all the women that are participating in either the title matches or the women's Money in the Bank, it would leave Asuka and Kairi Sane and the Iconics, so I assume they'll be dance partners next Sunday. So let's get into it, starting with the Cruiserweight Championship. Tony Nese defending the title against Arya Daivari. I'm a huge Tony Nese fan, as most of you guys know. I live here in Long Island, so I've seen the guy wrestle up and down here for the New York Wrestling Connection, Mikey Whipwreck School, all that. He's trained a number of my friends, so he's a good dude, and I'm happy to see that he has a Cruiserweight Championship. I'd be bummed if he lost the belt here. I'll be completely honest, though. I would have liked to see more names jump over to 205 Live. I know a lot of people think 205 Live is kind of a kiss of death in terms of doing different things where it's, if you get moved to 205 Live, that's kind of a step down. Many people consider it as a step up because you are going to the main roster. You're right there as a part of the main roster, as opposed to NXT. You're traveling with the SmackDown brand. You're doing your thing. You're going live on the WWE Network every single week. Though it's in the death spot of going on after SmackDown Live, but at the same time you are. So I would have liked a couple more names over there. I know Oney Lorcan is now over there, but I do think that they could have done a little bit more to kind of spruce up 205 Live. I know the world would have gone crazy if they had brought over somebody like Ricochet or Johnny Gargano. But if you ask me, I'd say, hey, these guys are really guys that I feel like could have done something where you could build the Cruiserweight division around these guys and really put a focus on them. And I think that the guys that are working hard down there, like Tony Nese or Arya Daivari, could really benefit, by having those guys down there. That being said, 205 Live has been a launching pad for Buddy Murphy, who's just came up, for Cedric Alexander, who's just came up, and for Ali, who's one of the most exciting guys kind of on either brand right now. So let's not crap on 205 Live, but I will say I think Tony retains the title here. A match I'm looking really forward to is Samoa Joe defending the U.S. title against Rey Mysterio. This is a match that was supposed to really happen at WrestleMania. Didn't happen because, well, it happened, but it happened like really short match because I think Rey was dealing with some injuries. So it was a total squash and ended up getting cut really short. I think these guys, from the match you saw them have even just a week or two ago on TV, I think they could have even a better match. I have a lot of faith in Rey and Samoa Joe. I think that they're both going to do really well, as I think that I have a lot of faith in both of them, and I'm excited about this match. Obviously, a lot of what this match is about Dominic. He's been so excited. He's been so jubilant recently for his father. He's been out there with him really over the last couple of months, and in doing so, swig of coffee, a little early here, but I wanted to get these in. So Dominic's really been there with Rey Mysterio. He's been pumping him up. He's been really amped. He's been excited. He's been doing his thing. One of the things to look at is either A, Samoa Joe takes out Dominic at the Coquina Clutch, something that I think would be awesome and really add to their story, or B, Dominic turns on Rey. I think Dominic is turning on Rey at some point, and I don't know if they're going to build this up a little bit longer, but remember, Dominic is somebody who was brought into the storylines way early on in his life. He has a lot of reason to be angry at Rey. I think it's only a matter of time here before Dominic Mysterio's just had enough of Daddy Rey, and we see Dominic kind of snap. We know he's been training for a while, so that could be fun, and I'm looking forward to that. I don't think Samoa Joe's going to lose the belt here, but I'm pumped for this match. These guys, you know they're going to go in there. They're going to give it their all. I'd say this could be a low-key contender for match of the night. All right, next up on the list, let's move over to Roman Reigns. You know what? Let's wrap it up with Shane McMahon and The Miz steel cage match. So this is the match where I feel like these guys have been building for a while here. They really, if you consider the fact that these guys have been building this feud up really since the Royal Rumble, right? They won the SmackDown tag titles at the Royal Rumble, starting that feud there. They moved on. They lost belts Fastlane. Shane turned heel. They continued at Mania. And now here we go. Really, I think the culmination of what I consider to be an underrated feud. A lot of people hate me when I say this, but I think heel Shane McMahon is a big contributing factor to getting The Miz over as a major top babyface. This is something they tried in the past, and it hasn't worked in 2013. It hasn't worked, in those different times where Miz has tried to be a babyface. Right now, Miz is super over. And I think even though it looks like where we're heading is probably a feud continuing between Shane McMahon and Roman Reigns, maybe a match between the two of them down the line somewhere, maybe at SummerSlam. My fear is that they want to keep Shane strong for that. And in doing so, you want to do something where Shane McMahon is kind of battling it out with, he looks strong. He continues to get the upper hand over his opponents leading up to a match with Roman so that both guys look strong going in. That being said, he's gotten the better of The Miz every single time. I'm not kidding. Literally every single time Shane McMahon has gotten better than Miz. Every segment ends with Shane walking off proud. Every segment ends with a Miz beatdown. Shane's gotten the better of the Miz at WrestleMania. Shane's gotten the victory over the Miz at WrestleMania. His only singles victory over at WrestleMania since returning to the ring for WrestleMania 32. So he's got the better of the Miz, and I think Miz needs a win here. Honestly, though, I know how WWE operates, and if the plan is to go with Shane and Roman, I got to go with Shane McMahon here as my prediction over the Miz to keep Shane strong for that program. Yeah, okay, let's get into some. Let's get into Roman Reigns and Elias. Obviously, Elias. Wow, look at that guy, man. He comes over from NXT. Hasn't had too many big high-profile matches at all in NXT, but in doing so, comes over and is just hit the ground running. Like, he's one of the most over guys in the entire company. I'd say other than Kofi right now, he's probably number 2. People just stop what they're doing and pay attention when Elias jumps on the screen. And he's had a deal with The Undertaker. He's had a deal with John Cena at WrestleMania a couple of times now. He's been really thrust in there with some of the bigger stars. And now he gets a straight-up feud here with Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. I'd love to say that I could see a deal where Elias gets the win here because Shane McMahon interferes or something to that extent. I just don't necessarily see it. I think Roman gets the win, continues to look strong. I feel like Elias here is almost, unfortunately, a placeholder to get to Shane and Roman a little bit later on. Continuing down the card there, let's jump into the Money in the Bank ladder matches, and then we'll get to our title matches. All right. You know what? I'm going to actually start with Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. I think Becky's going to retain the title there. But what I would say is if they had somebody where someone could win the Raw Women's Championship, so somebody could win the Money in the Bank, show up and defeat Lacey Evans after she defeats Becky Lynch. So you're getting the belt off Becky. You're getting Lacey over strong. Lacey gets laid out, and you create your next big top babyface by having somebody come out and immediately defeat Lacey Evans for the title. So you're not killing off Lacey in your first match. Lacey still gets a big, strong victory. You would then get the belt off Becky, because I'm not sure Becky Lynch is going to be able to wrestle twice on every single show moving forward. And you'd be able to propel somebody else right into that top babyface picture on Raw to go against Lacey Evans and move Becky over to SmackDown full time. Couple of things. They're really hitting the ground with this Becky 2 belts thing. If you look at the poster for Money in the Bank, it's Becky with both belts, kind of sitting on her throne. I would have liked if they added all of the women who were going for the Money in the Bank behind her, with maybe Charlotte and Lacey right on each side. They just have Becky, though. So I don't know that Becky's going to lose the belts. That is what I do, though. That gets you out of everything. The only thing is I'm not sure if any of the women that are in this match are over enough to justify having them win either women's championship. Hey, Mohan Sun, thanks so much for joining us here so early in the morning. I don't know where you're located, but here in New York, it's not even 10:30, so I appreciate you jumping on here on the live chat. It says here he's a new Indian fighter, and he wants a new Indian fighter in WWE. Yeah, no, I'm with you on there. I personally think that they could have done a little more with Jinder Mahal. I think Jinder, I think he was thrust into the world title picture so quick that he kind of needed that title to stay afloat. But I thought that they did a good job with Jinder. He got a lot of heat. So, in terms of a new Indian fighter, hopefully sometime soon. All right. So I would say that the only woman I could really see being babyface enough on the Raw side of things to come out here and win the title would be Alexa Bliss. They'd have to do the same thing 2 years in a row. And so I don't necessarily see them doing it. If I'm being honest, I think that they may go the other direction with it. Maybe have Bayley come out, win the Money in the Bank, then kind of turn on Becky by taking advantage of a bad situation for Becky and cashing in at the end of the night, probably on the SmackDown side of things. So I think they could do a variety. Jinder Mahal, I'm a fan of him as well. Modern day Maharaja. Wish they could do more with him, to be honest. So Bayley, and I definitely think that could be the way that they go in terms of that. I'd also like to see Ember Moon profiled more. I think Ember is really good. I think she has a unique charisma. So let's reset. Let's start with the women's Money in the Bank. I think they're going to go with Bayley. Looks like Bayley's been kind of on the precipice of breaking through these weeks for their match with Becky Lynch and with Charlotte. And I do think you're going to get your cash in on this night. I don't think they're going to keep Becky as the champion of both shows, even though I think Becky 2 belts is super over. I can see a situation where Becky fights Lacey, she defeats her, fights her off, or there's some sort of schmaz at a DQ. Becky comes out, fights Charlotte later in the night. She beats Charlotte, but she's completely exhausted. She's completely wiped. Here comes Bayley to take advantage of the opportunity, cash in, and defeat Becky Lynch for the title that night. And you get a little more of an intense and a nasty Bayley and build her up to the top picture. Of course, the one thing that's interesting here to see here is you'd have a situation with Sasha Banks. Sasha has not been on either show. That would be somebody that if she came out, took the place of somebody like, let's say, Dana Brooke in the Money in the Bank, that could be a lot of fun. And let's say you do a situation where she wins the Money in the Bank, she could cash in and be either a top babyface or top heel on either brand, depending which way they go. I think that Sasha is somebody that, if she's going to be coming back, if she's cleared her head, whatever's going on with her, I think that she is somebody who can really do a situation where she can kind of be built up and she could be in a situation where she can kind of move forward towards becoming a face of the brand, which is where I feel like she should be, for a while. So I keep an eye on Sasha Banks, but of the women announced, I'll go with Bayley. All right, next up on the list, new thing. Yeah, is that are you talking about Shira from TNA? Because I did hear he signed as well. So if that's what you're talking about, absolutely, he should definitely be somebody that WWE takes a major advantage of. As we're talking here in the live chat. So that's the women's Money in the Bank side of things. Let's go to the men's Money in the Bank. Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. All right, so let's write off the list. I do not want Braun Strowman to win this match. No offense to Braun. He's got to find something else for him. Right now, he needs a new, fresh coat of paint. And I think that it's just, he definitely, in my opinion, you don't want Braun Strowman to win that Money in the Bank. Guys like Ricochet and Finn Balor, I feel like right now, I'd love to see Finn Balor win and do what he said, Finn 2 belts, whatever. I love the promo of him checking in from Ireland, by the way. I thought that was cool. Ricochet he feels like a type of guy that's going to have a lot of really great spots in the match each year, but not win it. So that kind of leaves us with a couple different things. Randy Orton, I feel like he's been there, done that. Let's move him to the side. I'd love to see Ali get a shot just because I do feel a little bad for him. Kofi Mania took off, and I think that was supposed to be Ali's spot. Not necessarily to go to WrestleMania, but I do think he'd have been one of the final 2 with Daniel and then have a match with Bryan at Fastlane 101. Instead, he's kind of been lost in the shuffle since he got injured. So I don't think Ali's going to win this match, but I'd like to see him get a profile. So I really think it's between 3 different people. I think it's between Drew McIntyre, Andrade, and yes, Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin and his character right now, being that opportunist, being the guy who's getting that push really on the outskirts of the world title picture, is somebody who I could see winning this match. Money in the Bank is made for a heel like Baron Corbin, for sure. I think Baron Corbin can absolutely win this match. I know that people will be very unhappy if Baron Corbin wins this match, but I could absolutely see it happening. As far as Drew McIntyre and Andrade, I think either of those guys could also win, and you could just build them up as badass heels who want to do the right thing and go for the title the right way almost, because they're badass heels. This felt like the match right away where it was going to be Drew McIntyre doing a situation where it's kind of built up for him to win the Money in the Bank. It feels like they should be pushing him. He was somebody who was put into a program with Roman at WrestleMania. He's somebody who they've had go out and do different appearances. So I can totally see a situation where Drew McIntyre wins this. That would be my pick as to who I'd want to see win it, but just got a feeling about Baron Corbin, man. It feels like that is who they're going to go with, and have Corbin be able to kind of try to take advantage of that situation. Wouldn't even be shocking to see at some point Baron Corbin win the title. They really seem to be getting behind this guy. So my pick is going to be Corbin. My head pick, though, is going to be with Drew McIntyre as my heart pick, rather, as I'd like to see McIntyre get the win. So those are your Money in the Bank predictions thus far. Just to kind of recap where we're at. Tony Nese, Samoa Joe. I'm going to go Shane McMahon. Becky retains the title over Lacey Evans, but loses it, and Charlotte, but then loses it to the eventual Money in the Bank winner, who I had pegged as Bayley. Roman Reigns defeats Elias, and you have Baron Corbin winning your men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Let's get to your 2 world title matches, Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens. This match just feels like a match where you're going to have Lars Sullivan should show up and just cause a bunch of havoc. Unless they add that match, there's probably 2 extra matches they could add. They could do like a Lars Sullivan versus Matt Hardy type match. I think that could be fun and be a nice showcase for Lars, because I feel like he's got to get on the show somehow. And if it's not just show up and destroy, assuming they won't be punishing him for his terrible comments, and it doesn't seem like they're going to. So I'd say Lars Sullivan versus Matt Hardy is a situation they can go. They could also obviously add Usos and the Revival. Seems like they're definitely going in that direction, which would be a bit of a dream match if they cut the crap out with all the silliness and the backstage stuff. And then they could also do a big Baron Corbin fan there in the live chat. I could definitely see Corbin winning. I'd be a little excited about that. And then you'd also see a situation here where I think that you can go Revival, you can go Usos, and then you can go Lars Sullivan and Matt Hardy. That's certainly, or Lars Sullivan and R-Truth. I personally would like to see that more. If you're building up Lars Sullivan as a monster, give him month-by-month guys they could beat. Set him up with a small program with Truth, have him defeat Truth. Set him up with a program with Hardy, have him defeat Hardy. Work his way up the card to a point to where he's a Ryback, who, by the way, Ryback drew legitimate money on pay-per-view, challenging CM Punk for the world title at the time when he was undefeated, because they really built him up well as a monster. So remains to be seen. But let's get to the two last advertised matches. The world title match, Kofi Kingston defending against Kevin Owens. Tough spot here for Kevin. Glad he got the match. If you remember, Kevin Owens was kind of pegged to be that guy to face Daniel Bryan as a babyface at WrestleMania. That's what he was doing with all those storylines where he's the family man and he's eating popcorn and all the food that isn't exactly the best for you. Seemed like that was the direction they're going. Kofi Mania, though, kind of kicks into, catches fire, and they go with Kofi, which was obviously the right decision. Now Kevin Owens does get his one-on-one title match. It's definitely way too early for Kofi to lose the belt. I think Kofi retains. And then the main event, or I guess the Universal Championship match. I think there's a lot of matches that could potentially close this show. Definitely wouldn't be surprised to see Becky and Charlotte close the show, or even a men's Money in the Bank close the show. You could definitely close with that as well. Has a lot of star power in it. So a couple different ways they can go. But Seth Rollins defending the title against AJ Styles. I am probably in the minority here, but I'd love to see AJ win the title. I know that Seth has been built up. I know a lot of people love Seth Rollins. I do too. I like Seth. I'd like to see what he can do as the face of the brand, but it just feels like ever since AJ has come to Raw and gotten that mic and been able to talk, and you've been able to see kind of what got AJ to where he is in WWE right now, right? AJ Styles is somebody that is somebody who's been built up and gotten to be where he's at by beating John Cena. But even before that, it was, the let's beat up John Cena promos. It was the face that runs the place promos. Then it was the champ that runs the camp promos. AJ Styles is a great promo, and he's been great ever since he's come over to Raw. I'd love to see them pull the trigger on this and have AJ Styles get the world title here. I know that's not going to be a popular opinion, but that's honestly what I'd like to see happen. Do I think they'll do it? I do think it's probably a little early. They haven't been able to establish Rollins yet as the face of the kind of Raw brand of things, and he probably deserves that. So I'd say Rollins retains, but again, I'd love to see the title change. But that's going to be a great match. Those guys are going to bring it. And, this is a strong-ass show, man. A lot of people are excited about this. This does have a good amount of buzz from a local standpoint. A lot of people are really excited. It feels like probably not as big a buzz from the wrestling standpoint because it's the week before, less than a week before Double or Nothing. So I do realize that is going to be something where people are going to be excited about that come the end of May. But with that being said, I think people are pumped for Money in the Bank, certainly from a local standpoint. Tickets are I think other than floor seats, tickets are sold out for this show. So who knows? But I will be back on Sunday. We'll do something for Money in the Bank. Working on a couple different things right now, but we will see how it goes. So let's see kind of where we go from that. But to kind of recap my picks here, Tony Nese over Arya Daivari, Samoa Joe over Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston over Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon over The Miz, Becky Lynch over Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns over Elias, Bayley wins the women's Money in the Bank, Baron Corbin wins the men's Money in the Bank, Becky Lynch over Lacey Evans, and then Seth Rollins keeps the title over AJ Styles. Those are my predictions. Again, I do think you'll have a couple more titles added in there. So my man Mohan's son down there in the live chat has an interesting idea. Have Brock Lesnar show up, cause some havoc, and return at Money in the Bank in the AJ Seth Rollins match. That could certainly happen. Seems like Brock has announced that he's retiring from MMA, so you could certainly do a situation where he shows up here and causes a little bit and returns to WWE, because I think it's only a matter of time before they do that. Brock is scheduled to be on the show in Saudi Arabia. They haven't announced the title of yet, so that is a good pick there, Mohan. I think you've nailed that, bud. So we'll see. Should be a fun show, though. Keep it locked right here to Watchalong Wrestling. We'll have something for you for Money in the Bank and thereafter. Heading away, going on vacation. Hope you guys enjoy. Of course, take care of mom. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And that is going to do it. So Money in the Bank 2019 should be a great show. Let me know what you want to see happen in the comment section below. Thanks so much to those who joined us in the live chat. And we'll be back here real soon on Watchalong Wrestling. Until next time, everybody, this has been Tommy on the Spot. You take care, and you be well.